Welcome back. This is Tony with the Catechism Corner. Whew, you've made it to this video. This is it. I hope you did not skip ahead and watch this video. I'm definitely going to make sure that this video does not give away in the description or the titling that this is the meaning of life, because I don't want anybody to skip ahead. It's so important. Okay, this lesson alone is the most important one because it ties all the previous videos to this. This is it. Now I'm going to do a bit of the reading from my journal. So you're going to see me look down. The reason why I'm doing this is because my words, the way I put them on the page, are very important, okay? And it really brings all the concepts together. So this is it. This is the true meaning of life from my divine inspiration, from my interpretation of everything that I've gone through in the previous videos. This right here will tie it all together, okay? So let's summarize everything. Okay, to tie it all together. To start, we talked about the perfect formula of free will, okay, and how God cannot wipe away evil, okay, without stealing our freedom of choice. So, evil will always exist because of free will. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Evil will always exist because of free will. So, next, after that, we talked about sin and how it affects our lives. So, sin is our selfish actions in life. Regardless if, a bank robber is doing it for their family, it is still selfish because they are not thinking about what happens when they get caught or if they get killed, for crying out loud. Okay? They are not thinking about their family. The mental turmoil that the kids will go through when they have to visit their parent in jail or at a gravesite. That is how selfishness is a sin. So, because it doesn't consider the effects on others. So, got that in mind, right? With the discussion about good versus evil, we put on our yin and yang glasses and saw how free will and sin constitutes the existence of good versus evil. That battle that's going on. The turmoil is within us, and evil plays with our emotions. Evil always does. That temptation. Because Satan wants us to follow him, not God. Okay? So, for instance, when we lose our job, fear wells up within us. And then we become susceptible to commit evil acts, born from our natural instinct for self-preservation. Through Jesus, we learn how to avoid this tendency by his teachings of strength and love for others. That's what we're doing. Okay? That is us being able to battle good from the goodness of our hearts and battle evil. Mistakes happen. We're not perfect. Now, the glasses are serving two purposes for me right now because they're illustrating the points, and they also help me read without you guys getting distracted by my eyes going up and down here. Okay? So, in the lesson about God and Jesus, we talked about a plan for life and how God created the whole universe to fulfill this plan. The plan is the key to why, or, the meaning of life. We saw how God planned his own birth in the Virgin Mary and how he fulfilled his promise of a new covenant. He fulfilled a promise that he made that we'll all be bound to him. Jesus came and delivered a powerful message about about loving others and being in service of others. Okay. Lastly, he promised us that Holy Spirit. Remember, we talked about the Holy Spirit and how it connects us all together. How it serves to connect us to God, and he is able to guide our conscience. The Spirit inspires our thoughts and has allowed me to write these lessons and bring them to you. When we open our hearts to the Spirit, we gain insight into heaven. Okay? The lesson just before this one finally talked about heaven itself. Okay? Through a prayerful discussion you can have with God, you're able to discern what heaven is. Remember, it was perfection. Heaven is perfect. Okay? But this still raised the ultimate question, okay, that leads to the answer of why. So, it brings up this question, okay? And you're probably saying, come on, man, just get to the answer. Get to it. What is the meaning of life? You've got me on the edge of my seat, maybe. Or maybe you've already turned off this video. Or you're about to. Okay? Let's take a moment and think about that. The question that comes to mind. Okay, when you think about a perfect heaven. Yes, I'm doing a little bit of a delay on purpose. Okay? I'm guessing you haven't thought about this question yet. And that's why you haven't skipped ahead, you know? So this is the question. Humanity is not perfect, right? Think about it. Especially with our biggest flaw. And I mentioned it even in the welcome video of this channel. Our biggest flaw, and if you think about it, everybody's going to say, oh, well, it's you talked about sin and that's selfishness. You talked about I said sin, and then the original sin being temptation. You know, I talked about all those different things. Okay? Well, guess what? All of it is born from one real flaw of humanity. It's seriously one flaw. When you really narrow it down to one, and like I said it in the welcome video of this channel. Human arrogance. And I know. I sound arrogant right now as I'm sitting here talking about this whole subject. I sound like I'm full of it. Oh, I'm a know-it-all, or that sort of thing. I know how I sound. I understand it. Okay, but God spurs me on to bring this message to you because it's that much of an important message. It has nothing to do with me. I'm already on the road to fixing myself. And I know people say, there's nothing wrong with you. But there is, when you understand there's human arrogance inside of us. That human arrogance leads us to selfishness. It leads us to sinning. Okay? It leads us to hatred, anger, and all kinds of things. Judgments. Human arrogance. Think about it for just a second. Human arrogance. So, that's the question. This should be coming to your mind now. What is the meaning of life? Well, tie everything together now that you've learned. There's a perfect heaven. Right? A perfect place called heaven. It's perfect. Now ask this question. Can our human arrogance exist in a perfect heaven? You're thinking about it. I'm pausing on purpose. Again, can our human arrogance exist in a perfect heaven? That was the question that I had with God. That's what God led me to realize. See, I had this conversation, and I didn't want to put this out there, but I'm going to. I had this conversation with God through the Holy Spirit. That's why I had this divine inspiration. I talked to God because after all these years, and it was seriously like 2 or 3 years ago that I had this conversation with God. And I had to basically put it down. I knew I didn't want to make these videos back when I had this revelation, when I had this inspiration. I knew I didn't want to make these videos because I didn't understand it enough yet. I knew I had to think about it more. And I probably still not even ready, personally. Okay? And I'll get more into that in the subsequent lessons to this, because there's so much more. Because now you're with that thought in your mind, you may have already discovered the true meaning of life. You may have discovered why God created everything. Why we have pain, why we have suffering. What happens when you have suffering? It humbles you. It breaks us down to the point where we are in tears, on our knees, begging for relief, saying, God, why are you doing this to me? Like Job. If you've never heard that before, it is one of the books in the Bible. Job was a very rich man, popular man, until God started doing things. But he was also like a good person. Okay, Job did great things for people. But then suddenly, Job fell with all kinds of things to happen to him. And Job was losing friends. People didn't want to come near him. He developed leprosy and all this stuff. Horrible stuff. And then, what happened? He said, God, why are you doing this to me? And that's when everything turned around for Job. You see, that's the point. Job decided to come back regardless to God. He chose God. You see the amazing part about this story, about everything? It was, he released human arrogance and he came back to God humble. That's what everything is about. If you look at the Bible and you read the Old Testament, you come to find out the Old Testament demonstrates clearly human arrogance in so many ways. From Adam and Eve, through Moses, through Noah, through Job, through Isaiah, through all of them. Human arrogance is a recurring theme. Then you get to the New Testament about Jesus Christ. You read those 4 books about Jesus Christ. And what is he teaching? He's teaching about being humble. And that's when you come to realize what's the meaning of life? Why God created everything? To strip us of human arrogance, to take away the arrogance. Seriously, can a person go to heaven with their arrogance? No, because heaven will no longer be perfect. I don't want to go to heaven and have Joe Blow over there sitting there complaining that Johnny Smith over here got the greatest house in heaven. I don't want any of that. The point of heaven is to be peaceful, to live in peace, for perfection. But that can't happen with human arrogance. So, sorry, itch. Why did God create it? Why did God create life? Here's the real answers now. 2 lessons that we need to learn in life. 2 lessons. Jesus covered them perfectly. Now, the Catholic Church talks about these lessons all the time, but they never announce. I don't hear them ever announce it the way I'm announcing it now. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm better than the Catholic Church or anything. This is just what God wanted me to do. God wanted me to put this message out there for all of humanity, for everyone to share it. Share this video, share this playlist, get people talking about it, because it's going to change the world. So, the first lesson we need to learn in life, and this is the thing to keep in mind, these lessons take a lifetime to learn. They take a lifetime to learn. Okay, so the first lesson is love. The second lesson is humility. Those are the 2 lessons of life. Those are the ones that we need to learn. That is exactly the reason why God created this physical universe, so that we would suffer and feel pain. But we would also experience love, experience loss, experience all kinds of things, so that when we go to God, we can go with humble hearts, humility within ourselves, and be more prepared to accept that perfect heaven. And not hear somebody, I want my Xbox. You see, that is what this is about. This whole thing is about learning love and humility. Now, a whole lot of other questions can come out of that lesson, out of this lesson alone. I will probably touch on those in the later lessons. For now, think about it, meditate on it. You'll probably be able to start asking tons more questions down in those comments. And trust me, I promise there's going to be things that I'm going to bring about in the following videos. So you'll find more videos that will cover a lot of this stuff as well. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have a great day. God bless. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel below and click the notification bell for when we upload new content. Thank you for your valuable time, and may God bless you always with love, laughter, and memories for eternity. And have a wonderful day.